Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This morning, we still continue looking at the alimentary canal. So we know that this topic is coming from the topic in biology called nutrition in animals. So under the alimentary canal, we are saying this alimentary canal. The other word that we use is digestive system. An alimentary canal is a tube that runs from the mouth up to the anus where digestion takes place. So the major function of the entire system is to carry out digestion. Now we know that the word digestion simply means breaking down of large food particles into smaller ones. Now for this process of digestion to take place, it involves 5 stages. What are these stages? The first stage is ingestion, which is the act of putting food into the mouth. Then we have digestion, breaking down of large food particles into smaller ones. We have absorption. This word absorption refers to the process by which end product of digestion enters the bloodstream. Then assimilation refers to a process where the end product of digestions are used by the body tissues. Then we have ingestion, the act of removing undigested materials from the anus. So these are the 5 stages that are involved in the process of digesting food substances. We get back to the diagram. So the question says, figure 4.0 shows the alimentary canal of a human being. So this is the entire system where digestion takes place. And what we must understand is that each component in this digestive system has names and specific functions. For example, part H here is the esophagus. Then part M, this is the liver. Then I, the stomach. Then K, pancreas. Then L, large intestine. Then we have here, this is the gallbladder. This tube is called the bile duct. Then we have the small intestines, the rectum and anus. Now the function of the esophagus is to carry out the process of swallowing or peristalsis. Then the liver, its major function is to produce red blood cells in babies. The liver also carries out metabolic functions. The metabolic functions of the liver is also to produce heat in the body. Heat. The liver also carries out a metabolic function of storing vitamins such as vitamin A. The liver also carries out one metabolic process, which is deamination of excess amino acid into urea. Then the same liver also is responsible for carrying out one metabolic process, which is a detoxification of poisonous substances from the body. Or you may say the removal of poisonous substances from the body. Then we move the stomach, the function. It acts as a temporal storage for food substances. The same stomach also produces a substance called gastric juice. Now what we must understand from that point is that gastric juice in the stomach is produced by the gastric glands. So the gastric glands, when you open the stomach, they appear like sponge-like structure. So the gastric glands in the stomach, they are the one that produces gastric juice. Now this gastric juice, which is produced in the stomach, contains the following enzymes. The first enzyme is trypsin enzyme and pepsin enzyme as a second one. These two enzymes carries out the process of digestion of proteins in the stomach. Mind you, what we must know is that protein digestion takes place in the stomach, while starch digestion takes place in the mouth. And what we must understand is that starch digestion, in the moment it reaches the stomach, digestion stops. Why? starch cannot be digested in an environment which is acidic, because we know that in the same stomach, hydrochloric acid is produced. So then we are saying the mouth, that's where part of starch digestion takes place. In the stomach, only the protein digestion takes place. Then what we must know is that from this aspect now, we have known the function of the stomach as the storage, temporal storage of food substances, also production of gastric juice. From there, then we have this part, a leaf-like structure, which is the pancreas. Its major function is to produce pancreatic juice. So the pancreatic juice there, the pancreas produces pancreatic juice. Inside the pancreatic juice, we find an enzyme called lipase. The function of this enzyme is to carry out digestion of fats. Also, the pancreas produces sodium hydrogen carbonate. This is an alkaline which neutralizes the food substance that comes from the stomach with some acid entering the small intestine, specifically the duodenum. Then from there, we have this part called the large intestine. The function, storage of feces. Small intestines, the function, to carry out absorption of food substances. Then we have rectum, function, to reabsorb immunosuppressant water from the feces. Then we have the anus, to carry out egestion, the removal of unwanted material or undigested material. We have the gallbladder here, a greeny appearance structure in the liver. When you check the liver of an animal after you kill it, you find the structure that looks greenish. That is the gallbladder. The liquid inside, we call it bile. This is the substance that carries out the digestion of fats.